Today I'm going to show you some of my swords. These are mainly belly dance swords because that's what I used to do. And dancing with the sword is kind of like my specialty. So I got really into it and started learning about it and like learning about like swords, and then that kind of like led into like learning about weaponry and stuff like that. And I'm also kind of into cosplay, so it kind of goes together. But so I'm just going to show like a small portion of swords. So I'll start out with one that probably everybody has in their collection, and that's this traditional, like, I believe it's an Indian, like from India style. I think it was, I'll look it up and I'll put it in there, but it was a military sword carried by like soldiers on horseback. But this usually is the first sword that belly dancers get. They get this one or the ultra curved scimitar. We'll go to that one next. But those are usually the first two that you start with. This one is a very long sword. I think it's actually my longest sword. Oh no, I've got one longer. But usually it comes in a sheath like this. You can get them from like anywhere now. They do say made in India on them when you receive it, but honestly I think mine came from China, so who knows. Like I said, it's very long. It's got a shiny finish. It's stainless steel, and it is not live, or it's not sharp. You can see up close. And this one is usually the beginning sword because it is so easy to balance. Like anybody can do it, really. This is the one that I take to gigs, and like when you're being funny, you like put it on somebody's head, you know, because you're not afraid it's gonna fall off. That being said, it's pretty heavy, which is good though, because then you can learn. It's better to learn with something heavy because it's got a better center of gravity. So yeah, this one usually will set you back anywhere from like 30 to like $100, maybe even less. But yeah, there's that one. It's good because it works for like every audience, every dance style. It can be cabaret or tribal or whatever you want. So there's that one. Put it back in. Ta-da! Then this is the next one that people tend to get, and this is probably my favorite one. As you can tell, I have had this for years, and it's pretty beat up. You can see it's got rust, and it's got like nicks and cuts and all kinds of stuff. Oh, and if you're wondering what this is, I like to use things right there like double-sided tape, something to give it a little bit of like tack. That was a bead of hot glue. It doesn't hold too well, only for about like 1 gig, but that just gives it something to grip onto, because it's not gonna like stick on, you know, like it's not like you're like gluing it to your head, but it'll give you some traction, so when you're spinning and doing like lots of drops, it stays on well. This has a great center of balance, or center of gravity also. It's a little shorter than the other sword, but it makes up for that in the curvature. So this is also a very easy sword to dance with, and it is a scimitar. And this has the eagle, like I think this one's Egyptian style or Turkish, I can't remember. It's got wood and pewter or something like that. Eagle head. Nice. It looks good for everything. I use this for Renaissance fair gigs and stuff like that, or if I'm doing like tribal. Then, let's see. Then I have these swords. These are a lot smaller than my other ones, and they're actually, I bought them as a set because I wanted to start doing double sword stuff. Some people might think these are a little bit harder because they are very light and they're very short and they're not very curved. So these I don't recommend until you're pretty confident with the sword, until you're pretty well versed in dancing with the sword. Then I would move to these, but I would hold off on these until you're like pretty, like kind of more advanced. I got these on the website that sells the Desert Swirls costumes. I don't, maybe it's just called Desert Swirls or Belly Dance. I think it's called bellydancecostumes.biz or something like that. I'll put the link in the description. But yeah, and they were very cheap. They were like 25 a piece, something like that, maybe even 20 a piece. I got these like 9-10 years ago. They're pretty old, but I like them because they're gold and they're a matte finish. And then if you look closely, they have engravings that are really cool. And I don't know, I decorated them. And a lot of times, like, sometimes I'll add ribbons and stuff to the ends. It looks pretty. I'll make it match my costume. Okay. Then my next sword I have is actually my least favorite sword. I thought it was going to be the best sword I had ever owned, but not so much. It is a scimitar blade, sort of. It's extremely long, and it's extremely light and thin. So if you look at that, I'll hold this up compared to like another sword. Like, so let's see if you can tell the thickness. It's not a very good example, but this sword is about 2 times as thick as this sword. And then check out the length difference. So this is them. I don't know if you can see the length. But anyway, I bought this sword online. I got all my swords online. And I got this years and years and years ago. And actually, I think the website I got it from is no longer up. I couldn't find them. But they sold like fire fans and stuff like that. And fire hoops. And now, there's a lot of things I don't like about this sword. One, I feel like the tang, I feel like the handle is very wobbly. That makes me really nervous. There's a space right there. For me, I just don't like it. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't really look like Middle Eastern. This kind of looks more Chinese, or because it's got a dragon motif, but I can't even tell if it's like a Viking style dragon. It looks more Asian inspired to me. But then you've got the crescent moon and the star. So like that's like I don't know, the floral. So it's kind of like a Muslim inspired motif. But okay, then you get to the fire. The fire for me, the longest I've been able to make it last is about 5 minutes, but that was pretty good. I think I actually used like kerosene for that. I've tried all different lighting fluids, like everything. I've tried alcohol. I've tried nothing on it, just like itself. I've tried using like alcohol, mouthwash, hairspray, all different things. I'll make a video of stuff that I find works well. And yeah, but anyway, that being said, this sword, oh my gosh, I get so nervous. Like first off, it hurts. Second off, look how long it takes to balance. And it's so wobbly. Like, I don't know if that comes across on camera, but it is just really nerve-wracking. And you can't do as many things like it's gonna come up and hit you in the face. Like, boom. This sword, I think I'm gonna try to sell it. Okay. So now, as for sizes, let's check out some different sizes. So you've got like this length. And then for these ones, these are like my more advanced swords, I say. Can you see the size difference? This one's got about 4 inches on this one. Yeah. Then also, I have a katana. And this one is live. This one is sharp, so you kind of have to be careful with it. But this looks cool when you do like fusion, like Asian fusion inspired dances. But it is not a balancing sword. You can kind of mess around with it, but it just doesn't look as cool because it falls onto its side. But it's a nice one, especially if you're doing like cosplay or anything like that. And then speaking of cosplay, I have a master sword. Now this is not ideal for dancing, but it is fun, and it's cool. Real metal, ding. Then for like straight up like cosplay, like if you want to be like more on the safe side, I've got this one. It's just rubber. And then we've got the dual katanas. Those are lame. I like never dance with that kind of stuff. That's for like if you're just having fun doing like a Halloween hafla. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And that's my sword collection.